नमस्कार, सुन रहे हैं रेडियो चॉकलेट 104। आज हम आपको सुनाते हैं हमेशा, आज दिखा भी रहे हैं, क्योंकि आज हमारे साथ हैं फेमस स्टोरी टेलर और पपेटियर उषा वेंकटरमन जी। तो स्वागत करते हैं उनका रेडियो चॉकलेट में। मैडम नमस्कार।
नमस्कार अनिल जी।
तो मैडम आई हैं अंजलि फेस्टिवल में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए और बच्चों का हौसला बढ़ाने के लिए। तो मैडम कैसा लग रहा है अंजलि फेस्टिवल में आके?
I feel extremely happy, humbled. It's an honor to be part of Anjali Festival.
So मैडम, आप जैसे स्टोरी में ही आप एजुकेट करती हैं बच्चों को, तो आज हम चाहेंगे हमारे लिसनर्स जो हैं, हमारे व्यूअर्स जो हैं, उनको भी आप अपनी स्टोरी से एजुकेट करें। तो प्लीज आप अपनी स्टोरी में से कुछ निकाल के हमें सुनाएं।
Okay. तो सुन लो, सुनाती हूँ तुमको कहानी। Animals, birds और bat की कहानी। Once upon a time, a long time ago, when the world was brand spanking new, all the animals lived on one side and all the birds lived on the other side. One day, the birds decided to have a party, just to celebrate life, maybe to celebrate spring, the flowers in bloom. So they decided to have a party. And do you know who was most excited? It was Bat. Bat, the perfect party animal. He's up all night. When he heard the birds were having a party, he decided to dress himself up in party clothes and took himself off to the party. He arrived at the birds' party and he was stopped at the gate by Mr. Eagle, who was the bouncer. Hi, Bat. Where do you think you're going? Party. Bird's party. Yeah, I know, Bat. And Mr. Eagle looked him up and down and said, It's a bird's party. I know. I'm a bird. See, I've got wings. I'm definitely a bird. No, you're not. You're not a bird. You have that funny teeth and fur. You're definitely not a bird. You're an animal. Go away. You're not wanted here. Not a nice thing to say, is it? Bat would have shrugged his shoulders if he could. But he didn't. He flew to a nearby branch of a tree, perched on it, and he began to cry. He cried all night. He continued to cry in the morning, and he cried so much that he slipped on his tears and whoopsie, he turned upside down and he hung there. After some days, the animals, they decided to have a party. You know, they wanted to celebrate life. And when Bat heard about the party, he perked up. Perfect party animal, up all night. He dressed himself up in party clothes and arrived at the animals' party. He was stopped at the gates by Zebra, who was the bouncer. Hang on there, Bat. Where do you think you're going? Party. Yeah, I know. It's an animal party. I know. I'm an animal. See? Look at my teeth. And look at my fur. I'm definitely an animal. No, you're not. You have those funny-looking wings. You are a bird, Bat. Get out of here. You don't belong here. Not a nice thing to say. Poor Bat took himself off, perched on a branch of a tree, and began to cry. He cried all night long. He cried in the morning. He cried throughout the afternoon. He cried so much that he slipped on his tears and turned upside down, and he hung there. But somebody was watching this. It was the deer, a four-legged animal, and she took pity on the Bat, and she turned to the animals and said, Hey, that's not fair. Bat is definitely an animal. Look, he's got teeth and he's got fur. I think he belongs to us. So the animals listened to Deer because she was a wise one, and they decided to take him in their team. Some days later, the birds challenged the four-legged animals to play a game of ball. The battle lines were drawn, pitches were made, nets were built, and the four-legged animals were on one side and the birds were on the other side, and the game began. But before that, the animals told Bat, "You will be a reserve in our team. You're not going to play actively." So the Bat didn't really like that much, but he was happy to belong somewhere, and he stood on the sidelines, and the game began. Though the animals were, faster and fleet-footed, but the birds, they could fly up in the sky, up in the air, and they caught the ball, and they were leading in the game. When it was half-time, the animals hadn't scored even one goal, while the birds had scored 4. They decided to bring Bat, because Bat called out from the sidelines, "Hey, I can help you. Why don't you take me in the game?" So the animals decided to take him. They said, "You're very tiny. What can you do for us, Bat? Anyways, play for us." And after half-time, the game changed. The edge, which belonged to the birds, suddenly the game changed, and the four-legged animals were leading, because Bat, he could fly up in the air and catch the ball. He might be tiny, but he could reach up and catch the ball before the crane could flap her wings and come and get the ball. Soon the animals were leading in the game, and they won the game by beating the birds to 1 goal, which was more than what the birds had made. 5 goals to 4. So the game was won fair and square by the animals. And they turned round and looked at Bat and said, "Hey, you're sure little, but you're definitely a hero today. You are a hero." And all the animals gathered, and even the birds who had rejected Bat, and they all gathered around Bat and said, "You are a true hero, Bat. You are."
So truly mesmerizing. मैंने ये कहानी सुनने के बाद मैं तो वहां पे सुनता ही रह गया। जरूर आप भी सुन रहे होंगे, और अगर आपको अच्छा लगा तो आप भी अपने लाइक्स या कमेंट्स दे सकते हैं। लेकिन इतना बता दूं कि मैडम ने इस कहानी के जरिए ये बताया कि आप छोटे बड़े ये मैटर नहीं करता, आप अपना कितना एफर्ट लगा रहे हैं और कितने शामिल हो रहे हैं उस चीज में, वही मायने रखता है जो आपको हीरो बनाता है। तो आप भी अपने फील्ड में हीरो बन सकते हैं, बस अपने अंदर वो आत्मविश्वास रखिए। थैंक यू मैडम, आपने इतनी अच्छी कहानी बताई हम सबको।
Thank you so much, and my pleasure totally.
So सुनता तो रेडियो चॉकलेट, फील को था तो धूम मीठा।